Hi everybody, Butch Stearns here again at HealthIT 2012. We're with Jonathon Dreyer, who's the Senior Manager for Mobile Solutions for Nuance. John, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. We talked to Joe. Joe was up there talking, but you're with Nuance and you focus on the mobile end of things, correct?
Correct.
And when you think about healthcare, you think about information nowadays, and you think about the world we're in. For example, the world where my daughters want stuff where they want it, when they want it, and how they want it. But you add in all the levels of security and legal when it comes to healthcare. It's an interesting time, and as I said to Joe, I'll ask you the same question. There's a lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities, especially when you think about mobile.
Correct.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so some of the things that we're doing, so I head up the mobile solutions marketing for all of the mobility in healthcare.
Okay.
And it's kind of a split combination between internally developed apps. A lot of companies are doing apps that are extensions of their desktop applications or products. And then there's also this notion of the kind of core technology that powers those applications and being able to deliver that to a broader audience. Okay. So some of the things that we're seeing with respect to mobility in healthcare, obviously everybody has a smartphone device. In healthcare, we're seeing a lot of iOS application or iOS devices and also applications that run on those devices. Android growing as well, web-based applications. So you're seeing this explosion across all of these different platforms. And what we're looking to do is really take that core technology, being the speech and understanding technology that's kind of our bread and butter, and being able to deliver that out to a partner community, which then can in turn deliver that out to the kind of healthcare masses. So all different form factors, independent of what device, what application, what form factor you're using, being able to have that experience, that ubiquitous experience across the board, and being able to deliver that experience to the end users is something that we're really doing here with respect to mobile.
Give me an example of some apps that you've come up with or some of the technology, how it works.
So we launched our development platform about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
No, actually just about a year ago. We launched prior to that in the consumer space, so we have a lot of work that we do in the consumer markets as well. But inside of the healthcare space, we have currently over about 150 development partners, and these span all different clinical scenarios. So you have anywhere from the mobile EMR application, which would be a web-based application or a iOS or Android-specific application. We have specialty documentation point-of-care solutions. So we just announced recently a partner which does a dermatology application. So you're able to use a 3D mapping of the body and add speech dictation and notes to that. We also have some emergency department overlay applications, partners that are building those apps, clinical trial apps, disease management apps. The list goes on and on. So we're seeing a really broad spectrum of clinical applications that are making use of this technology in a mobile environment.
So give us another example from a patient standpoint of an app that's really an eye-opener that people don't know about, or one that the technology has got to the point where you can't, like you just said, dermatology, you do a 3D image. Is there another one out there that always wows people, or one that you like to focus on?
Yes, I mean, speaking of the imaging part too, we're seeing growth of this in a number of other areas too as well. Diagnostic imaging being one, with the devices now having higher resolution displays, faster processing. Even though everything that we're doing is being done up in the cloud, a lot of these systems are doing that as well, where they're off-putting the processing power remotely. And as these, I think, depending upon the platform that you work on, as these platforms support concurrent applications running, there's going to be different instances of how these applications actually get deployed. But to your question, we're seeing this in the radiology space or diagnostic imaging space. High quality image viewers on these devices, image sharing applications, but now adding that layer of interaction using your voice, and then later adding in that layer of understanding, which is really taking what the user says into the application and creating some structured content, really understanding the intent of what they're doing. It really just opens up the floodgates for so much innovation.
Well, as you're talking, I'm thinking of like the first time when I was a kid, when I went to a hospital in diagnostic imaging, and I got an x-ray taken and had that whole, whoa, an x-ray. If you had told me back then, first of all, what was a cell phone, but that you could possibly take an x-ray on your cell phone. Can you now? I mean, I bet you could.
You can view it. Well, actually, interesting enough, back to that dermatology example, this is a completely different application, but there are now our tools, for example, with the iPhone, that sleeves that you can set the device into, and you can use it to take images, high quality images right from the device, so in rural environments. And it's just endless. It's unbelievable the amount of innovation we're seeing in this space.
John, let's finish up with this. What are we going to see coming up from Nuance most recently, or most in the future, and what are we going to see in the industry? What do you think's the next thing that's coming?
I would say, you're going to see a continued growth and expansion of the speech interaction, right? That conversational approach to communication with these devices. That's here today, and that's continuing to expand, right? With new functionality, new capabilities, which are in part from the application developers, but also in part from the actual hardware on the device, right? Being able to take advantage of more of the actual onboard capabilities of the devices. Then in the near term as well, our clinical language understanding technology, so the ability to actually understand what's being said and use that information, right, for business, clinical, or patient good on the back end. We are going to start to see applications hitting the market with that type of technology being able to be utilized across all these different clinical scenarios we discussed.
Butch Stearns and Jonathon Dreyer, part of our HealthIT 2012 coverage.